Alright, what's up everybody? Fletcher Wheaton back here with a little market update, and I want to talk about pre-construction as well. But here we are in September 2022. This is generally the slowest month in Cabo, and I just checked MLS numbers. We're doing the same. We've already hit $1 billion in sales this year on the MLS. Last year was the first year we hit $1 billion. We did 1.6 on the MLS, 1.6 billion. So we're going to see what happens this peak season. A lot of people have these fears of recession and things like that. I'm not super worried about that. But anyway, I wanted to take a minute to talk about pre-construction. I recently wrote an article for Destino magazine on how to vet developers. And the fact of the matter is, if you're looking to buy a house or a condo in Baja right now, about half of the listings that are currently on the MLS are pre-construction. So it's a very common way to buy real estate right now. There's just not enough inventory to keep up with demand. So we're going to go over a couple things. You know, if you're buying pre-construction, one of the main things is you should be incentivized for the extra risk you're taking, right? That property is not yet built out. So you should be getting a 20 to 25% premium when that condo, when that house is delivered. You know, and then the market can take it from there and it can go even higher. If you're not going to be compensated for that risk, then you should be buying something that's built out. That's how it works, right? So let's look at this. First thing, what is the developer's track record? You know, have they done projects in the area? Are people happy that are living in the communities that they have been doing, right? Is this their first project in Baja? If it's their first project in Baja, is it their first project period? You know, I'm not going to say that's a huge red flag, but I like to work with people that have a track record. And Baja is very much an island. It's different from the rest of Mexico, so you just have different things that happen here that don't happen in other parts. Not necessarily permitting wise, but still it's a different animal, so to speak. So having somebody that has a track record, like where I'm at here in Cabo right now, Cabo, these guys have a track record. They've done projects all over. You know, another thing is, have any of the other projects that this developer's done, what a lot of people do is they'll finish the buildings and then they'll leave the common areas for last, and then they just won't really finish those common areas. And that's a huge way to decrease the resale value of your property, right? So making sure that doesn't happen. You know, if they do have projects here, what are their resale value? You know, let's take a look at, you know, if they did a project in 2017, what were those selling at and what are they selling at now? Because if it hasn't gone up, that's an issue, right? There's some developments I know of where there's still like a third of the houses that are not sold out yet. And once again, that's buying into a fractured development, and it's just it's a very painful experience. You don't want to be doing that. You know, another thing is, what are their HOA fees? You know, a lot of people when they're buying rental properties here, or just properties in general, they're not, or the agent is not disclosing what the HOA fees are. Those HOA fees can really eat into your rental income, or, you know, just your ability to own a home here. So what are those HOA fees? And I get this a lot from people about HOA fees. I mean, people coming from California and Florida, they have like nightmare situations with HOA fees. I have yet to see many developments start jacking up HOA fees, you know, so I don't see that's happening. Labor here is very cheap, but anyway, seeing what HOA fees are is another very important thing. Okay, so where is the development located, right? So Cabo is heating up. It's been heating up, but you're starting to attract a lot of other developers into town. So are they getting like the scraps from other developments? You know, where are they finding this land? Is it, because generally if it's great land, it's going to be a lot more expensive than it was in 2017 when a lot of these other developments were happening, right? So are they trying to pick off the pieces that other developers didn't want before because it's close to an arroyo? You know, we're in September, we just had a lot of rain the other day, which is nice and welcome. But at the end of the day, if you're next to an arroyo, you're putting yourself at risk to flooding or, you know, massive damage to the property. So you want to make sure that you're in an elevated position so when these storms do come, you're not in the way. You know, does the developer offer financing? Now look, we are in a market where there's not much inventory, and these developers, they look at extending financing as a liability, right? So there's really not many offering financing. And look, I've heard people talk about financing and they're 2 years. Like, dude, that is not financing, okay? Financing, I'm talking about a minimum of 5 years, but generally like 10 years, okay? So are they offering financing? This developer couple is, you know, solid financial backing, right? So these guys offer financing, 5-year and 10-year. Obviously the interest rate depends, but I've seen around 6% depending on what you're trying to do, the 5-year, the 10-year. So nothing astronomical, and that's generally going to be about 50% down. Now I have seen in the past a developer here in the Tezal area that was offering financing, and then they stopped offering financing, and that has proven to be a gigantic red flag. So if somebody has been offering financing and they no longer offer it, then, you know, take that one with a grain of salt and run. Do not even try to get into a situation right there. Once again, buying into a fractured development is a very, very painful experience, and avoid it at all costs. You know, and now let's go around and say, who is the competition? The good news is today there's a lot of people coming in. We see a lot of these developers coming in from the Riviera Maya. You know, they're coming from Mexico City. A lot of this money that used to be investing in the Riviera Maya is now coming to Los Cabos. So what is the competition doing? You know, what are the warranties, right? These are all things you want to make sure. You want to get this in writing. You know, if a developer has, let's say, like a year warranty on foundation and things like that, leaks, you know, the actual building, let's get this in writing. Let's make sure that there's no gray area. And more importantly, you know, let's reach out to people that have been buying in these developments, that know what's going on, that can give you firsthand experience. When I go scout real estate for some people, sometimes one of the most important things I do is knock on doors and just talk to residents. You know, they tend to spill a lot of the beans, the good and the bad, about what they want, you know, what's been good, what's been bad there. So I think that's a huge thing. So once again, Cabo real estate market is very healthy right now. We have a high-end client coming here. I don't see that going away. There's still a massive amount of land. There's gonna be a massive amount of development, and this is gonna play out over decades. Okay, so this market in Baja California Sur is gonna grow, and pre-construction options are a very important part of that, just because there is more land than there is development right now. So we're gonna see that continue to play out. Just make sure you vet the development, you vet the developer, and if you guys have any questions or you need any help with that, please let me know. Happy to help out. Until next time, hasta luego.